Hello, very good morning. Can you all hear me? Sorry, apologies, my voice is a little bit cracked up. I just came from South by Southwest, so you can imagine that's going to be very bad for your throat. So welcome to the introduction to 6.5. We just want to share some really interesting tidbits about our new release coming up called Windows Mobile 6.5. And my name is Loke, and together with me I have Bruno. Both of us will be walking you through what's new in Windows Mobile 6.5, and then talk a little bit about the features, show you the cool looking UI, the cool things we have on the device. And then John will cover the very exciting Windows Marketplace for mobile, and he can dive into more details about what we're doing in the marketplace space. So let's begin now. Hang on, just a few things. We will keep questions to the end. We'll give you some time to ask questions, and in order to repay you for asking questions, we'll be giving away some money. Well, actually fake money with a money clip. And one of the money clips has a special marker, and if you hold that special marker, we'll give away this nice looking Touch HD device at the end of the session. So stick around if you can. The first thing I want to talk to you about is Microsoft's strategy or our vision. Our vision is basically, I know some of you would have heard of the three-screen approach, where we focus on making the experiences great on a PC, making the experiences great on the web, and also on a mobile device. And not only that, but tying all of these three different ecosystems into one integrated piece. So your life, your photos, your work, your business can exist on any of these platforms, be it on the web, in the cloud, on a PC, offline, or on a mobile device, on a go together with you. That's our vision. And Microsoft is investing heavily in this space in order to make that work. So a little bit about what we're doing from a mobile device. Windows Mobile 6.5, we announced in Mobile Congress about a month and a half ago. I'm sure you've seen screenshots about on the net already, even before Mobile World Congress. But just wanted to share with you some of the interesting new UI elements. When you look on the left-hand side, that screen is called the lock screen, the new lock screen. It shows pertinent information, and it shows you what kind of alerts and notifications you have on the device. I'm going to share with you, I'm going to show you a demo after this. The middle screen is what we call the honeycomb interface. Well, this screenshot is a little bit old. We've got some feedback from the users that says, hey, wait a minute, this honeycomb UI doesn't work very well. Let's change it a little bit. So I'll show you what the new one looks like. That's your programs list. So if you hit start, instead of showing you a list of programs, I'll show you icons for programs that you can reorder and change as you like. And the last one over here is basically what we call the titanium UI. It looks like a very Zune-like interface. It shows you your time, your emails, your text messages, your voicemails, all from a very finger-friendly UI. We've basically enhanced Windows Mobile to be more touch-sensitive and finger-friendly. We got a lot of requests from users who want touch on the device without having to pull out the stylus. So we made things a lot bigger. We made icons much bigger. We made the hit surface a lot more bigger in order for you to use your finger. Okay? And you will see from the demos I'm going to show you as well. And we've also done a lot of things to allow you to customize your phone and personalize your phone. And I think that's a very important scenario. Most of us like to change the color scheme. Most of us like to have our own wallpapers and so forth. We allow you to do that as well. So moving on, I would like to show you a demo of how Windows Mobile 6.5 looks like running on an actual device. Here we go. Let's wait for the screen to reset itself. Okay, so I'm running on a Touch Pro device. Now what you're looking at here is my actual device. If there are any SMSs or emails from private ones, please excuse me. Now what you're looking at here is the lock screen. You'll see that most of the time when you take out your phone, what do you look at most of the time? Why do you take out your phone? It's usually time and where you need to go to next, right? So that's what we display here first. We show you the time and show you the next appointment in your calendar. We also have a notification button on top that you can tap, and it brings down a list of notifications depending on the type of notifications you have. For instance, missed calls or incoming text messages or email messages. In this case, I have 2 missed calls, 3 text messages, and 73 email messages. Okay? So as I go throughout, throughout the day, you can see all the notifications that come in. And if I want to go directly to my emails, or let's say my text messages, for instance, I just take this and I drag it out on the side, to the side. Okay? And you can drag out on both the left and the right side, depending on which hand you use most of the time. So I'm going to unlock my phone. Yes, the PIN number is 6622. Please tweet and blog about it. And here you go. And the first thing you realize is the Chrome has changed. We basically improved some of this is a list control, and it's also finger friendly. So instead of using the scroll bar at the side, I can use my finger to scroll up and down. Okay? And if you hit the menu, you see that we've also changed the Chrome for the menu item as well. Okay? So that's first one. Second thing is, if you hit start, let me just go back here. Let me just close this text message window. This is the main UI, or the main home screen, the Today screen. And it's also finger friendly. You can tap on this bar and drag it up and down if you like to select your text message or email or a calendar, for instance. Or you can scroll the back. So if I take any surface, let's say here, and I drag it down, and I spin it down. So it works as a spinner, and it also works as a selection box. Right? And if, for instance, if you have your pictures, you can just scroll like this to go through all the different pictures that you have. Okay? So that's the other UI. And the third one is obviously the start menu. So we've dropped the honeycomb interface. We made the icons much bigger so that people like me with big fingers can tap accurately. And then it supports scrolling as well. And the scrolling is intelligent to stop after every page. So if I just scroll like that, it will stop instead of going all the way to the end. Okay? So it's a lot more usable. So that's the basic UI, if you like. Just a quick guide just to show you. There are a lot of things that we've improved upon as well, such as the email. You have a nice icon at the side with a double line display for email. Again, everything is finger friendly. Okay? So that's Windows Mobile 6.5. What do you guys think? No? Good? All right, all right. Next thing I want to talk to you about is we have a few cloud-based services that we're going to launch. And I believe the first one we announced is called Microsoft My Phone. How many of you have heard about My Phone? No? Just a few? Okay. So My Phone is essentially, now all of us who use mobile devices, I don't know about you, but I have like 12 devices in my bag. And every time I switch from one device to another, I lose my text messages, I lose my pictures. Or if you drop your phone in a bar somewhere, on a taxi somewhere, you lose your phone, you lose your data, and you find that you have to key in all your contacts again or have to go and look for your backup. And that's difficult because it frustrates people. I'm sure you're also very frustrated when you lose information like your contacts and so forth. So what we've done is we built a service called My Phone that allows you to back up your device. And what it backs up is everything in your phone, for instance, text messages, video, photos, I think music as well, and tasks. It backs up into the cloud so that if you ever lose your device, all you have to do is just get a new one, install or just run My Phone, log into My Phone using your Live ID, and you get all the information back down to your device. Okay? So backing up your phone in the cloud. So you don't have to lose any more data. So I'm just going to show you a very quick demo of how that works. Here. Let's go back to my device. Okay, so to go to start, just look for My Phone. And here, what you have is I've already automatically logged in to my account in My Phone. All I have to do is just hit synchronize. And you see that you start to synchronize using whatever data connection that you have. In this case, I have HSDPA. You just use HSDPA to go online and synchronize with the cloud. I believe you can also specify your schedule, how often you want to synchronize. You want to synchronize every day, every hour, or manually. So as it's synchronizing, there we go, changes in text messages, changes in pictures. It detects all the changes and synchronizes to the cloud. So let me switch back to my PC here to show you how the desktop experience looks like. Just going to switch across the screen. There we go. So in a desktop, when you log in, it looks like this. So when you log in, you see you have all your contacts, your calendar items, in tasks, text messages, and so forth. Now, the contacts and calendar, because I'm synchronizing with Exchange, my phone knows that and doesn't synchronize it to my phone. If you have Exchange, it maintains your synchronization parameters for Exchange server. Here, if you click on text messages, you see all the text messages that I have on my phone. There we go. All the text messages you can maintain. You can delete your messages here. All the photos, music, videos, and so forth, all here as well. Okay, so it's a very simple service. It allows you to back up your device. I believe it runs only on Windows Mobile 6.5 today. And when it ships, you will be able to log in using your Live ID and back up all your data from the phone. Okay, so that's my phone. What do we have next? I'll just move the window away. The next thing is, the next improvement in Windows Mobile 6.5 is the browsing experience. Some of you might have heard we've included Internet Explorer Mobile into Windows Mobile 6.5. There we go. So the Internet Explorer on Windows Mobile 6.5 is based on the IE6 engine. Now, it is based, and why I say based on, it is actually a hybrid. It is not exactly 6. It is 6 with some IE7 improvements, namely alpha channel PNG support, and then IE8 JavaScript engine support. So it's a hybrid. It is a much more modern browser that we've put into Windows Mobile 6.5 in order to provide full screen browsing on your desktop. On your device. Now, what you can do is you can view a desktop page as it's designed to look like on a desktop. If you want to switch back to a mobile view, we can always go to menu and switch back to a mobile view if you like. Personally, I prefer the mobile view because I can get at Twitter or Facebook very easily using the mobile view. But if you like full screen browsing, we support that as well. We support pan, zooming, all the features that you'll find in modern mobile browsers. Another advantage that we have on IE Internet Explorer Mobile is the inclusion of Flash. So you can view Flash-enabled sites just as it was designed to be viewed on a desktop, okay? And all within the browser. You can also enable Flash to go full screen if you like. And because we've improved the functionalities of Internet Explorer Mobile, we introduced a new programming paradigm. Well, not really new paradigm, but new to our platform, mobile widgets, okay, which I'll share with you in a little bit. So let me show you how the IE browser looks like. Or I'll show it to you later. Now, we've actually done a study on how advanced our browser is, okay? So we've compared, there's a study that's done by Crimson, I believe. They compared Opera, Nokia browser, Safari, and IE Mobile on a certain set of scenarios, like the number of different types of scenarios that you can render. And IE Internet Explorer Mobile can render about 81% of the websites that are part of this test, or this examination. Now, if you download the slides later, I have a reference right at the bottom here if you want to look at what that test entailed. But it is a fairly advanced browser, okay? Although it's based on an IE6 engine. I'm sure some of you would point out. And so let me show you a demo. I want to show you a demo of Internet Explorer Mobile and the new widget framework that we have on Windows Mobile. So let's go to the device here. Let's start IE. And does anybody have a preference to a site that you want to browse, preferably with Flash? Somebody? Sorry? Engadget. Engadget, okay? All right, let's try Engadget. So I'm just going to type here. G-A-D-G-E-T, if I can spell properly, engadget.com. Browse. Okay, so you'll go to engadget.com and start loading the page, depending on the connectivity. Sorry? I believe it's HSDPA, but still spotty, not real HSDPA. They're fake HSDPA. Yeah. Oh. It's bringing up a mobile site? It's showing me a mobile version of the site? Let's see what am I rendering. Go to view. It is a desktop version of the site. Yeah, and gadget. Click on that. Come on, give me that. All right, it's taking a while to load, but while it's loading, let me show you widgets, okay? Let's go back to my desktop here. Let me show you what widgets is. Now, if you go to home screen here, what's pretty interesting is all these are your applications on your device, right? These are all the apps you install, you download. And one of the two interesting applications that we've put in here are basically the MSN weather and money widgets. These look like full applications. To a user, it looks like an application. It's just an icon. If you tap on money, for instance, okay, it launches the widget. And then loads the widget up, and it looks like a full screen application. To a user, I don't know if it's a widget or not, but it's built entirely in HTML and JavaScript. So very easily, and the standard that we support is the W3C Mobile Widgets Packaging and Configuration Standard. So we have no Microsoft secret sauce in this widget framework. It's all industry standard. So technically, you can take all the code from an Opera widget, package it in a .widget file, and dump it in. It should work. Okay? Or any of the other W3C supported mobile widget standards. Question?
Will there be website support?
No, there's no plans for website, but that's a great idea, right? Not yet. So this is a widget, right? It supports finger-friendly controls as well. You can tap on a item, it brings it down. And the typical widgets that you know and love today. So if you build widgets before, you will know how to do it. It's very simple. You just package it in a zip file and rename the zip file .widget according to the specifications, and then you will be able to deploy it. Okay, so that's MSN Money widget. Let's go back to the page. Oh, this is the mobile site. So somehow or other, Engadget is detecting that I'm coming in from a mobile browser and showing me a mobile page. So let's try something else. Let's try a Flash-based site. Anybody? Sorry? How do you spell? The FWA.com. Okay, this is it like R-rated? Is it R-rated or something that I can show to? Okay, I don't want to bring up some, those kind of sites. That'd be pretty bad for my career. Let's bring it. I just want to show you the full screen browsing and Flash integration, which is pretty good. You can even play Flash-based games. You can load up Flash, go to full screen, and start playing those games as well. Yeah. All right. Okay, anyway, while that is loading, I shall not make you wait anymore. While that is loading, let's go back and talk about what's new, what's in store for developers on the Windows Mobile platform. Okay? Now, what I'm going to cover here is not really entirely specific to 6.5, but it is an all-up view for a developer who is interested to know about Windows Mobile development. That includes 6.5 elements. These are all the things that we have for developers. And let's take a look at the first set of things. Windows Mobile provides a very familiar and productive environment for developers. Now, how do we prove that to you? Very simply, Visual Studio. If you know Visual Studio development, I'm sure most of you do, you will know how to build an application on Windows Mobile, whether it's 5, 6, 6.1, 6.4, 6.5, and so on. We've also included .NET Compact Framework 3.5 and SQL Server Compact 3.5 to build applications very quickly and very rich. We're also able to build line of business applications that can scale to thousands and thousands of devices, okay, using complex merge replication scenarios and so forth. And we have an emulator, a series of emulators, an SDK, and a couple of tools that are part of the SDK. Tools like a cellular emulator, for instance. If you need an emulator to simulate cellular connections, how do you do that? We have a cellular emulator. If you're building a GPS-based application and you're working in a cave somewhere, like most developers do, How do you program that? How do you test your application without going outside? So we have a tool called Fake GPS that allows you to trick the emulator to think that they are some other region, so and so forth. So those tools we provide to enable you to build applications very quickly on Windows Mobile. All right? Oh, it's back up. Before I go on to this, let's switch back to... Here we go. Is that Flash? So that's a full screen browsing experience, right? You can go back and forth like that. Do I tap on one?
Yeah, if you tap on one, it'll have a navigation on the right side to go to a classified.
Yeah, let's just tap on one like that. Does that work? No? Oops. I'm zoomed. Not hard enough. Did I hear somebody say? Where did it go? Anyway, I should have brought up another site. I can bring up YouTube to show you the videos playing as well. So anyway, yeah, let me get YouTube up. So let's come back to the promise for developers. Second thing is an innovative platform. Now, what do you mean by innovative? Well, we try and strive to improve the platform as much as we can. And we've introduced a couple of interesting things for you, namely what I told you about Internet Explorer Mobile. So for developers, what's important is, number one, you don't need to do anything. If you already have a desktop application, it will run fine on a mobile device. Okay? Number one. Second thing is, if you want a richer mobile experience, then you can use the enhanced scripting engine that we have on Internet Explorer Mobile to build very specific Windows mobile browser-based experience, or mobile browser-based experiences. Third thing we have is widgets. So if you want to build lightweight data snacking applications, you can build it very quickly on Windows Mobile 6.5 as well. And then we have an interesting new capability called gesture and touch. It's not an API per se, it's just there for you. I'll show you a quick, very, very quick demo about that feature in a bit. And the last thing that we want to talk about is profitable and cost-effective. We realize that in order for us to make a developer successful, Microsoft has to put in some effort to make sure that, number one, you get a lot of benefit for building applications on our platform. And how we do that is we make you successful commercially, make you successful by maybe deploying your applications much more quicker, or we just make you happy building applications on our platform. And hopefully, with introduction of some of these technologies, we can help you reach that, or again, attain that benefit. And number one is the Windows Marketplace for mobile. And I think as an ISV, if you build applications on mobile, I think this is one of the most exciting things that we have. John will cover that in a lot more in-depth in a bit. I also want to talk to you about the System Center Mobile Device Manager. If you're part of an enterprise corporation, deployment of mobile devices and management of mobile devices in your organization is a big thing. How are you going to track 10,000 devices and ensure the security of the data on these devices? So we have a product called Mobile Device Manager that allows you to do that using Active Directory, allows you to manage your devices in remote, allow you to deploy applications to your devices, and also allow you to do mobile VPN if you want to as well. We've upgraded our developer portal. We've sorted out the mess that was MSDN, and now we've brought all the content in a much more organized manner for you to go through and learn about Windows Mobile development. And we have a version 2 of the Mobile Client Software Factory. A Mobile Client Software Factory was created many, many years ago to help you developers get up to speed, to do things like, how do I ensure that a password that I store on a device is encrypted properly? How do I manage connections to my server, for instance? How do I decide which connections to use if I have multiple ones that exist on the phone today? I'll give you a good scenario. In Australia, data connections are not unlimited, not like here. So you have to pay for every single packet. So it costs our corporations a lot of money when they build line of business applications when you need data synchronization across the air. Because if you have to synchronize megabytes of data every day, they have to pay for every kilobyte of traffic. So what they wanted was the ability to detect, okay, if I have a cell connection, don't synchronize. If I have an active sync connection or Wi-Fi connection, which is of lower cost, then synchronize my data. How does your application tell the difference? So we built basically building blocks to allow your application to do this without you having to rewrite it. And we published all of this on Codeplex. they can download with full source code. And that's what we call the Mobile Client Software Factory. Currently, we are in a second revamp, a V2 version that runs on Visual Studio 2008 that you can download. So if you go to codeplex.com/mobile, you find the information about Mobile Client Software Factory. So those are the few things that we've done in order to improve the experience as a developer building applications for Windows Mobile. So last demo, before I hand it off to John, I think this is very, very exciting. Oh, here we go. Yay. It's a little bit slow. Yeah.
Connection's a little slow.
So anyway, so this is is it YouTube?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and you can see the animations on top here. That's basically Flash in action. Okay. So that works within a browser. The only browser so far today, apart from Skyfire. But. Okay, the other thing I want to show you is gestures or touch. Let me just start that here. Go over to my desktop, bring up Visual Studio. How many of you are developers here? How many of you build apps on Windows Mobile? How many of you build apps for iPhone? Where's my gun? No, just kidding. Now, what you're looking at here is Visual Studio, the familiar and productive development environment. And this is a very simple forms application. All I do is I just drop a list view control. Okay, a standard list view control that you can pull out from the toolbox on your left. Drop it on a page here. If you go to form, all I do is just use Pocket Outlook Object Model, go through my contact list, and populate a list view with my contacts and images. And that's it. That's all I did. No additional code. And the result, if you run this on a standard 6.1 device, is very different from when you run it on a 6.5 device. Let me show you here. Oh. So standard list view control with your typical scroll bar, but because 6.5 has finger-friendly features and touch and gesture capability, now your list view control has kinetic scrolling for free. Okay? So you can very easily build very interesting, very much better looking applications now on Windows Mobile that we provided this support for free. Okay? So as a developer, this will be a lot more interesting for you. Okay? So with that, I'll hand it over to John to talk about Marketplace.
Thanks, Loke. Wait for the screen to set up.
Your mic's not on.
Is my mic not on? It says it's on. Yeah, I'm on. Sorry, I'll try to talk louder. So I'm Bruno. I am a program manager with the Marketplace engineering team. And I'm sure, show of hands, how many have actually already heard about Windows Marketplace for mobile? Okay, so at least we'll hopefully give you some new information today that for the folks that haven't actually seen it yet. So Loke mentioned Marketplace being a key feature of 6.5. And it's not an optional feature for 6.5. It's going to be on the device, out of the box, just off the start menu. So highly discoverable, easy for users to find the Marketplace right on their device. In terms of the mobile ecosystem, we've seen a lot of changes in recent years about, with mobile ecosystem evolving and actually users wanting more personalized experiences with their mobile devices. And apps and services are really a key driver for, bringing that personalized experience to users on the phone. Marketplace is becoming a core feature for that experience. I think we've seen with the iPhone and even to some extent the BlackBerry, Marketplace is just, it's core to the overall user experience. And as such, the ISV and developer revenue share in that ecosystem has been increasing as application marketplaces bring revenue to ISVs and opportunities to get their applications in the hands of users. So Marketplace actually solves two of the core problems for ISVs that have been challenges in the past. And those, as I mentioned, are distribution and monetization. So some of the other items, requirements that Marketplace addresses in terms of the changing ecosystem is, the discovery of the applications on the device and really achieving that personalization, making the phone yours. So, and we want to offer an easily navigable large library of applications for users. We want to provide advanced search, user ratings, reviews, everything that users need to actually discover the apps that they want to run on their phones. Convenient purchase and install. We don't want to have a high barrier for users to get those applications onto the device. We want it to be seamless, allow them to pay with a mechanism that they're familiar with, such as their credit card, and seamlessly download and install the app to the device, and then subsequently manage it. We want a worry-free shopping experience. We don't want to provide users with a set of applications that aren't going to work really well on their device. So we want to make sure that any apps that we bring into the ecosystem are actually going to be very well tested, and we provide an easy path for those apps to be upgraded and installed on the device even after they're purchased. Another great scenario that we're going to make sure we enable as well is, Loke mentioned the My Phone example of, I get a new device or I carry multiple devices and I want to be able to actually get my apps to show up on all devices. So if I'm running my HTC Touch Pro and I have a set of applications and I decide I'm going to go to AT&T and upgrade that phone, I'll easily be able to log into the marketplace, get the list of apps that I actually have already purchased and have access to, download and install them right on my new device. So how are we going to organize all this content? For starters, we're going to really focus on 3 content types initially, starting with the native code applications. For developers who've been writing native code for a while on Windows Mobile, those apps will be able to be provisioned right into the marketplace as well. Additionally, we're going to support managed code applications for any .NET CF developers out there. And of course, widgets for the lighter weight programming experience. We want to make sure we provide those in a set of key top-level content groups. So from most popular, new, featured, and then of course a very comprehensive categorization of those apps for users who like to drill into particular categories for shopping. Layer on top of that a pretty advanced search, including full text kind of searching. We want to make it super, super easy for users to find the applications that ISVs want to provide. So having mentioned this relationship between the developers, the device, and the applications and the users, we really want to look at what is the overall value proposition for developers to build apps and distribute through the marketplace. I think for a lot of developers who have built iPhone apps, it's a pretty clear value prop, right? We give you the access to the user community. So you have the ability to take your applications and bring them to market in a pretty seamless way. But there's a couple of points I want to enumerate here that I think are really key to the value proposition that Windows Mobile provides. First thing is the familiarity with the development tools. Visual Studio, the Windows Mobile SDK, nothing new here. We want to give developers the set of tools that they already know and make it really easy for them to build those apps and get them into the market. Second point is distribution. The Windows Mobile ecosystem is pretty large, pretty vast in terms of its global reach. So that comes for free as a function of being part of the marketplace. You get your app into the marketplace is on every device worldwide. You get exposure that you probably couldn't get very easily if you tried to do this on your own. Third thing, simple and transparent publishing process. We really want to be upfront about what it takes to get your app into the marketplace. What sort of certification is involved, what sort of policies are involved, and we will publish that to you in advance of you actually building your application. So there's no tricks, there's no hidden agendas, it's just straight up and obvious. And then finally, maximizing your return on investment. We want to give you competitive revenue share, making sure that you get paid well for the work that you're actually doing when you're selling your applications. So let's drill in a little bit to each of these particular bullet points that I mentioned. Familiar tools. Loke has mentioned Visual Studio 2008, the .NET CF 3.5, SQL Compact Edition, JavaScript, XML. These are all tools that a lot of you are already familiar with. Those are the tools you'll use to actually build applications. Additionally, we'll provide you with tools through the SDK like Hopper and App Verifier that will allow you to test your applications before you publish them into the certification process. So you know if you're going to have memory leaks or issues with the app being stable on the device. And now the real reach of Windows Mobile. I think this is where the opportunity really becomes obvious for developers who want to get their apps in the hands of users. The Windows Mobile footprint is pretty vast. 50 mobile device manufacturers, 160 mobile operators, 55 countries, and at launch, we'll have global commerce available in 29 countries. So if you have an application that you've built in English, your opportunity to go deploy that application in French or Spanish or German or Italian only compounds the opportunity for you to be successful in the marketplace. And of course, we will provide products in localized catalogs on the device. So I mentioned transparent policies and processes. This is pretty key because we want to make sure that developers know what it takes to get an application into the portal. We don't want you to get stuck in the process of getting the application in. We want you to know up front so you can address the issues or design your application in a way that's going to work pretty well through the marketplace experience. For starters, we're going to provide you a centralized developer portal. It's going to be your one-stop shop for actually publishing and managing your applications. You'll be able to download SDKs there, upload your applications, get them certified, get them signed, and then once they're actually in the catalog and being sold, you'll be able to manage them, promote them, and actually understand what users are downloading your applications, what sort of issues they might be encountering in the wild, and then being able to repeat the cycle through upgrades and things of that nature. And I mentioned the transparency and policy. You'll be able to download from this site what the policies are and what the types of applications that we'll allow in the catalog. So this is the big one, revenue share. 70% to you. It's pretty competitive, becoming pretty standard in the industry. And the mere 30% to us will cover things like our operating costs, credit card commissions, and things of that nature. So why don't we take a quick look at the initial developer experience at developer.windowsmobile.com. About 2 weeks ago, we launched this site at developer.windowsmobile.com. This site will continue to evolve over time, but this is the beginnings of the one-stop shop that I mentioned for all your development needs on Windows Mobile. And eventually, we will layer on top of this the application management features that I spoke of earlier. I'll give you a little glimpse into what those are going to look like, but as you might imagine, we're deving those in real time. So just quick overview. The initial overview is just all about what does it take to develop and distribute apps on the Windows Mobile platform. The Getting Started page would be great for folks who actually haven't developed for Windows Mobile in the past, and this will provide them sort of the quick and dirty snapshot of what it takes to get up and running and going on the Windows Mobile platform. For folks who are, big on connecting with the community, sharing ideas, actually getting, chatting in forums and things of that nature, we'll provide us a place to go to connect with us on Twitter, connect with us on Facebook, and make sure that you complete the circle of the developer ecosystem from developer to developer. And then finally, the value prop for Marketplace. Pretty soon what we're going to do is from this page, we'll launch the ability for you to sign up and actually get started developing apps. But at this point, we're just talking about what is the value prop and what is coming. So I'm going to switch back over and show you a couple of screens of what you might expect to see when we actually bring on the signed-in experience for the developer dashboard. So the developer dashboard is all about giving you a high-level view of your application pipeline. We want to give you a quick snapshot of where your apps are in the process, what are the actionable things that you need to do to move that app through, but also give you a quick snapshot of the progress that your apps that are being sold are making in terms of reports and ratings and things of that nature. Advanced search and application management features make it so that it's a very flexible sort of environment for folks to do the work the way they need to. We're not trying to wrestle you into a particular process. We just want you to have the flexibility to manage your applications the way that you do in your companies. One of the big features of this is actually the ability to add your products straight from the screen. So when you add your products, we're going to collect a lot of metadata about the product in addition to the binary to make sure that we fill the catalog in appropriately. And some of this metadata is pretty detailed, but it's actually really good because it helps us to build a really rich catalog. Some things that I'll point out is the ability to upload artwork and screenshots of your app, specifics for iconography, support information, how do users get in contact with you once your application is actually in the marketplace. What language is this particular application published in? What are the descriptions for the mobile device versus the PC website? So how do you get started? As I mentioned, you start at developer.windowsmobile.com. You're going to create a publisher account on Marketplace. That's going to allow you to establish a business profile, give us a subscription fee, and then get vetted as an ISV. So what does it mean to get vetted? It means that we're going to ask you to publish binaries that are actually going to be signed by an authorized certificate authority. So the vetting process happens behind the scenes where we actually make sure that the folks who are signing up are legitimate parties that want to do business. If you're a larger ISV and you have multiple users at your company who want to manage this application pipeline, we're going to give you the ability to actually invite those folks to your developer experience, have them sign in and manage your company's accounts. And of course, once that's all said and done, you can just start publishing straight away. So what does the publishing process look like? I mentioned the metadata. That's kind of key to making sure that the data in the catalog gets populated correctly. I mentioned certification, and I mentioned signing. Certification is really about getting the app ready for your users. There's some criteria that we'll dig into in the next slide, but there's a distinction between certification and actually signing. So certification is, we test the app for some key policies and criteria that we establish up front and provide to you guys in an easily digestible form. Signing is actually just putting a signature on the binary that just makes sure that that binary comes from the publisher that owns the app. Once you're actually through the certification process, publishing to the catalog is a pretty easy click of a button. You'll be able to set your price in a number of different countries, in a number of different currencies, as well as establish the categorization of the application, tag it, and then, of course, sell and support the app. And then from a monetization perspective, we'll give you plenty of reports to track your progress, and eventually some promotional opportunities where you can make sure that your app gets higher visibility in the catalog than it may get organically. So drilling into certification a little bit, I know this has been a particularly interesting topic for folks in the blogosphere who've been reading some of our posts about Marketplace. So I want to talk about the 3 pillars of certification. The first being the Windows Mobile logo testing. So folks who've been in this world for a while probably are saying to themselves, well, how is this different than mobile to market? Well, it is different than mobile to market. But it is the source of the logo test kit is actually based in the mobile to market test criteria. So this set of criteria just checks to see that the application is well written, that it's not going to hork the device, that it installs and uninstalls cleanly, it's not malware. It's not going to leak memory or actually give the user a poor experience on the device. It's not a replacement for the testing that you do on your applications. This is just to make sure that it's going to function on the vast array of mobile devices that are out there for Windows. It'll be a set of about 60 objective criteria that, as I mentioned, you guys will be able to download and check out up front. There's not going to be anything unusual here. The second layer is about content policies. And this is all about making sure that the types of application that you're putting in the store adheres to our global content policy. Classic example is pornography. Obviously, we don't want pornography in the store. So that layer is just all about making sure that the app is on the up and up. And finally, the application policies. So these are the sort of the things that we will publish that are just outright not going to happen from in the catalog. We're just not going to allow these types of applications. And the classic example of an app that's not going to be allowed is a gambling application. I don't need to go into why that's probably not going to happen. So I mentioned reporting. Some key aspects of reporting that are going to be, obvious to you is the transactional reporting of who's downloading my app, who's buying my app, how do I take that data and get it into my existing support system so I know when that user gives me a call on the phone that they actually have bought my app. Then there's some other, some of the more social features of reporting, like user ratings and reviews. What are people saying? How are they rating my apps? And then, of course, the geographical distribution. Where are these apps being acquired from? What sorts of currencies are being used? That type of thing. And then how do I get paid? Quite simply, Microsoft will provide an electronic funds transfer process to the developer from us in a very common set of currencies. Those currencies are going to be the US dollar, the euro, the British pound, the Canadian dollar, Australian dollar, and the Japanese yen. So what can you expect from us when? We mentioned at Mobile World Congress that we actually existed. And in about a month later, we launched the developer portal at developer.windowsmobile.com. But this timeline really lays out the next steps and what you might expect to see from us when. So the next big thing is going to be registration. In the next couple of weeks, you'll be able to actually go to our portal and sign up to become a marketplace ISV. And subsequent to that, we'll release the submission process in advance of the actual catalog. So you can get your apps in the catalog before Marketplace becomes available to the general public. And actually, be part of the launch experience later this year. And then beyond that, it's just all about selling and reaping the benefits of being in the Marketplace. So quick recap on what we've talked about. What's the value prop for developing for Windows Mobile and for the Windows Marketplace for mobile? Familiar tools like Visual Studio, SQL CE, .NET CF, JavaScript, XML, the whole lot. Global distribution, 29 countries with currency at launch. Competitive revenue share, 70%. No secrets. And then streamlined and transparent publishing process. We'll give you all the information you need to get started, and then we'll give you an automated process to get your apps into the catalog.
So if you want to learn more, you can go to developer.windowsmobile.com and register to get more information. Or if you guys are on Twitter, hang on a sec, the question is going to come soon. Yep. You can follow at WMDEV, which is our Windows Mobile team Twitter account. There are a bunch of us that are monitoring that Twitter account for questions. We do tech support and developer questions as well from there, from their source. So it's a great way to engage with us there. We have our own Twitter accounts if you want to follow. And let's open it up to Q&A then. So there's a microphone there if you want to come up.
Let's remind folks that questions are rewarded.
Yeah. With money.
With money.
Fake money.
Okay, so what's the price range on the remittance fee? And when the end user buys something, how do they actually pay? Does it get paid through the mobile phone company? Like, for example, the App Store? Or do they have to input their credit card into their phone?
So let me answer that in two parts.
Okay.
One thing I did mention, which I totally intended to mention, was that the marketplace will be available on device, but also as a PC website experience. So through using your Live ID, you can create a billing relationship with us. And then once you actually create that billing relationship, you don't actually have to input your credit card every time. So users initially will be able to make the purchase on device or make the purchase via the PC website and have the app sent to the device. So both scenarios will be supported at launch. Your second question was about the remittance fee.
Yeah.
So the remittance fee is $99, and we've published terms on our Windows Mobile developer blog about what you get for that $99. And it's going to be basically 5 application, certification, and publishing events with that $99. So that includes the process of actually obtaining the publisher certificate, signing the bits, and going through the certification testing.
Thank you.
Yep.
Sorry, there's a line back here.
Yeah, how's it going? So, the issue you were showing regarding the flash driving through the Internet Explorer, the announcement that was mentioned out in Barcelona also about the collaboration of the IE and the operating experience combining with the mobile experience coming, I guess, in September, or this coming when the operating system in the desktop is going to merge with the mobile operating system that I heard out in Barcelona to work with everything that ties into the Explorer. Do you remember that?
Sorry, let me see if I get your question correctly. You're saying that Internet Explorer Mobile with Flash support on Windows Mobile 6.5.
Well, I noticed that the Flash, there was a comment in an announcement in Barcelona about that the combination of the Microsoft Windows Mobile with the desktop with the desktop operating system is going to merge in some capacity to where it's seamlessly working directly from the desktop.
No, I'm not aware of such an announcement at all. There are currently no intentions to merge the platforms. It's 2 separate platforms. Windows is a platform on its own, and then Windows Mobile or Windows Phone is a category of devices that are built on
Right, but
Windows
won't they
Mobile.
work simultaneously through the Microsoft desktop process?
No,
And in Explorer as well, from what I heard.
no. It's a branding
Okay.
thing. It's
Okay, I
basically
see.
Windows Phone is a category of devices that run Windows Mobile operating system.
Okay.
So the AT&T Fuse, the Touch Pro, HTC Touch HD, these are all Windows phones, but they all run Windows Mobile operating system.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have 2 questions for you. Within the 6 months after launch of Windows Mobile 6.5, how many devices do you expect the platform to be running on? And then after that, what type of demographic information will you provide to the developer about who is buying the applications?
I think to answer the first question, hopefully hundreds of millions of devices.
Well, yeah, of course.
We have not solidified the number of operator partners that we have launched, or we will be launching with 6.5, so we don't have any numbers to talk about. Mm-hmm. But as an example, I think last quarter, compared to the other competitive devices, we outship most of them except for RIM. We also outship iPhone in terms of shipping devices. Mm-hmm. So we will continue to sell and ship a lot of devices from all our different operator partners all around the world. Yeah. Number, we don't have one.
So of the devices that are out there today in the hands of consumers, how many of them will be able to upgrade?
I believe only 2. HTC announced that the Touch Pro 2 and the Touch Diamond 2 are upgradable. And if not mistaken, did I hear that LG is going to provide updates as well?
Okay.
That's all that we know.
Okay, sure, cool. And then the demographic information about who is buying the applications, and will you share that with the developer?
Yeah, so the developers will be able to download reports of who's buying their applications. It's sort of undetermined yet what exact data elements will be there for you. But imagine that there's going to be scenarios where large ISVs want to be able to support those users once the apps are in their hands. Mm-hmm. So we want to make sure there's at least enough information there where you know where the user has bought the app, who that person is, and how to get in touch with them.
Right, exactly.
So.
Okay, great, thanks.
Thank you.
All right. I have a question. What are the plans to support IE8 and Silverlight?
We have our PM for Silverlight. No, just kidding. We can talk about Silverlight. I think you want to give an official answer now, or you want to? Yeah, it's more of a, I don't want to say misalignment, but the window to get into 6.5, we missed the window. So we're going to focus on shipping a better experience for the next version. I think Amit can go into details with you later about Silverlight. In terms of IE 8, right now for Windows Mobile 6.5, we will have no plans to put IE 8 in. I guess that's a heavy engineering effort in order to get the browser into the device. Definitely for the next release.
Just two short questions. One to follow the Silverlight question. Silverlight would bring SAML to Windows Mobile. Wouldn't that make a first-class citizen for general user interface on Windows Mobile?
We agree.
Okay, great, thanks. Yahoo! And the second one, just short, Windows Mobile 6.5 emulator. Will there be one available for developers soon to start testing and playing, or is that something we have to wait for?
Okay, let me answer that question in two parts. One, yes, we are. We are making that emulator available to developers.
Good.
Not yet. Unfortunately, I can't give it to you today. I would love to. But today doesn't mean that you can't do any development on 6.5. Most of the thing about 6.5 is also a familiar and productive development environment. You can build apps on a 6.1 emulator, and you'll run exactly fine on 6.5.
Okay, so the device APIs will be similar?
Yes.
Okay, thanks.
Right.
Hi, a lot of the things you talked about sounded exciting to me as a developer, and I was wondering how you would translate that into getting consumers excited about these things, especially, I'm at a university and everyone there loves the iPhone, of course, and especially,
of course.
How can you translate this into a user choosing Windows Mobile 6.5 over an iPhone or something?
So working together with our OEM and operator partners, we have a big marketing activity and a marketing program now, a campaign, to go out to consumers to market the device. The OEMs continue to innovate in types of devices that they have. If you realize that we don't have just one slate device, we have 150 different device types. You know, QWERTY keyboards, you want T9 keyboards, and so forth. And rest assured, we are working with them to put campaigns around getting consumers excited about Windows Mobile. If you realize, for the past few years, we've been focusing a lot on the business side of the house. And we sort of failed to realize that a business user is also a consumer. So now we're putting a lot of effort on selling or creating consumer experiences on Windows Mobile. And you'll see that come in the next few releases.
But just to add to that, I think that if you also look at what the overall Windows value proposition is, it's connecting the three-screen, you know, making the three-screen dream a reality, right? So I think you're going to see a lot of things come together with Windows plus Windows Mobile, with synchronization, with cloud computing. Like, I think that's what really drives the value for consumers.
Very cool. Thanks.
Thank you.
Hey, guys.
Yes, Mike.
I want to follow up and go a little deeper on that previous question. What is Microsoft doing to really hold your OEMs to a higher standard? Because, you know, as both an iPhone and a Windows Mobile developer, as the latter, I've had a bit of an inferiority complex lately. But if you think of it, it seems fairly laughable that an OEM can have a $99 phone and a $699 phone and still provide the same experience. So can you speak to what you're doing to really bring the OEMs up to par with what you really want to envision?
Okay, so I don't work for the OEM team, just a caveat. But yes, we realize that is an issue. And I think it is largely based on the test criteria that we have, as published as the LTK test. And we are trying to improve the LTK test and raise the bar so that OEMs will have to do a lot more, not do a lot more work, but make the experience a lot tighter, a lot more efficient in order to pass that test. So that the end result is the device that comes out and goes into the market will be of a higher quality. And that's what we are trying to do. And it's we have to keep doing that with all the OEM and operator partners. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Hi there. I'm not sure if you've already covered this, but with respect to the marketplace, if I have an application and I make an upgrade or a minor update and I wanted to push that to the users, would they be able to get a notification of any kind?
Yeah, so I didn't really touch a lot on the application management features in Marketplace, but imagine there will be full application management such that if you purchase the application, a week ago and the ISV releases a update to that, as long as the ISV says that you can have it free of charge, we'll make sure that that device gets it through an update service. The same goes for scenarios like I mentioned where you're moving the app from one device to another. That app management lifecycle is all part of that.
Great, thank you.
So I have a quite difficult question. You guys are all talking about, kind of payment and go through your marketplace to get all these applications, but in our experience, especially the younger generation, they like to share applications. And so one of the nice things about Windows Mobile right now is that you kind of download a cab and you can send the cab to another user via Bluetooth, which is impossible on an iPhone unless you jailbreak it. The same thing for Nokia, so you kind of share applications back and forth. Is there a way of being able to use the App Store to be able to download an application, but also enable the user to be able to share it with their friends and family and their local network, rather than having to go via your App Store to then go and download it again on the other device? So like kind of almost like the kind of Zoom model will be quite interesting on Windows Mobile.
So it's an interesting question. I think you're asking a question that I wouldn't often expect to get. I usually get the opposite, which is, what are you doing to protect me, the developer, from people sharing my application? And to be honest with you, that's the scenario that we care a lot about. We want to make sure that your intellectual property doesn't get shared if you don't want it to be shared. So reality is we will, any application distribution will be through the marketplace. That doesn't mean that you can't publish a cab on your website and people can share that and sideload it as they would today. But any app that is downloaded through the marketplace will be basically bound to the user who downloaded it.
But surely, I mean, as the example you had with the with the Silverlight, you just have a kind of container which hits the web and pulls down the actual content. So the container, you want to get on as many devices as possible, and so surely at some point in the future, these guys will also want to do the same thing. They just want to be able to share it out as far as possible.
Yeah, I think it's a great.
Yeah, I'd love to chat with you more about that scenario. If you welcome you to stop by the device bar. We can definitely talk more about it.
I think we can only take one more question, and then what we do is we have a device bar in the third place, and we have a marketplace drill down session at 2:30 this afternoon at the Beijing area in the third place. So just go there. I think John and Dan and a bunch of us will be there to answer more in-depth questions. So
I had actually two questions. With the mobile synchronization, is there any plans on having that sync with other devices that are non-Windows Mobile, like a BlackBerry or Palm Pre?
Right now, we have no plans for that.
Okay. And then also, I've seen it seems like a lot of other devices are becoming more like synchronizing all your whole social life in the device, like for instance the Palm Pre and some of the stuff that was announced about the iPhone's new operating system that's coming out. Is there going to be anything that's going to kind of synchronize more like Twitter and everything into everything?
Into one common view. Microsoft is not doing that yet, although we are open to third-party ISVs who can help us build that scenario. We would love to have a friend feed client, for instance, integrated with a Ping FM client together into one. That would basically bring everything together into one common platform.
And I think I would second that and say, use things like Live Mesh, make that a reality, get it up in the marketplace. Like I think it's up to you guys to do it.
Yeah. All right. Oh, okay. We'll do one more, and then.
All right. I have two questions about Marketplace. The first one being, will we be able to post apps for free on Marketplace, or is it only for pay?
You will be able to post apps for free.
Okay. And my second question is, a lot of clients will want to trial the application before they actually purchase it. Will we be able to post a trial version of our app on Marketplace before they make the commitment to purchase it?
You will be able to provide a trial version of your application. We look at that as providing a free version of the application.
Okay.
Instead of an actual trial program that has a baked upgrade in it.
Okay. Thank you.
So, yep.
All right. So again, please go down to the third place and look for us. We have a device bar. I think we brought over 50 devices or something like that.
Before we take off, we do want to complete the drawing.
Yeah, let's do the drawing. Yep.
So you guys were going to ask questions. I'm going to hand these out. You guys were in line. I don't know who was.
So Dan, what are we looking for?
So Everyone got a money clip with some money in it. Who's got a $50 bill? Okay. We're looking for 100, so sorry, guys. Who's got a $100 bill? Who's got 100? Okay. Who's got a $100 bill with a red circle on it? That's it? You've got a new Touch HD device?
Yeah, come on.
Thanks very much, guys. Come by later on
Thank you so
for
much.
more money clips and more info at the device bar in third place.